Morning everybody, welcome to another episode of Parlay Revival. So many of you guys keep asking for longer episodes, uncut footage, raw footage. So we thought we would do a live demonstration of us glassing from the transom all the way to the keel. This is the last big section that we have to glass. We've got little bits and pieces. We might fast forward a few sections of this video, but other than that, it's going to be pretty unedited. This is a really difficult spot to glass. It's all above head, all overhanging. We're going to do 4 layers of glass down the whole thing, and you guys will be able to listen to how we communicate or try to communicate with these respirators on, and you'll clearly see what everyone's roles are. So here we've got all the glass. It's already in order from A to I, and it's all marked on the wall already, on the hull, sorry. And one of the crew is going to be wetting them out here first, then they're going to go up wet. So you're going to see us sort of struggling to get all the air bubbles out of these things. We're using Total Boat epoxy with their slow hardener just to give us a little bit of time. It's first thing in the morning here, so it's still relatively cool, but also pretty hot still. So we're going to be racing against the clock. We've got the Yacht Supply Malaysia boys with us. We've got 2 workers. They've been amazing so far. Butcher over here is starting to fill all the little holes. So any little imperfections in the glasswork, he's going with a epoxy mix, like a putty. And he's started to fill those now. We've wiped the whole thing from transom to keel with acetone already. And we got the chosen one here. He sailed across the Pacific with us. He's going to be our #1 mixing man. So he's doing a 2-to-1 mix of epoxy right now. He's just about to kick it off. Jamie's probably going to be at the rolling station here, wetting them out and passing them to the rest of us. And Walk's just an all-round legend. He's just going to be floating around, picking up all the loose pieces. So that's the crew. We got Britt behind the camera here, just making sure we don't run out of battery. Let's do this. I'll try explain things here and there, but otherwise, enjoy the show. So when you mix up a big, we're doing how much? 1.5 liters? About 1.5 liters at a time. So when you mix up a big batch of epoxy, it tends to kick off faster. So you got less time to work with it. So what we do is once he's mixed it up, we immediately put that into smaller buckets and a couple of rolling trays, so that it's in smaller quantities. Bit of sun coming through over here. It's just coming over the horizon. So we're going to start at the transom, and as we move forward, we should be out of the way of the sun there. So the first thing we're going to do is wet the area out that we're about to lay glass. So Wack, you're going to do that. Once that's wet, you can see Jamie over here rolling out the first piece. These sheets are 1.3 meters long. So no joke, it's going to take about 4 of us just to hold that up and get it in place. So you can see Wack rolling out the area there. We're using biaxial glass. We're putting 4 layers up along the hull. That's where we had the row of blisters, and as we ground up the hull, we found that it was only about 2 feet down the center line that had blisters. And as we did more investigating, we realized that the glass from where that unground area up, that glass is totally fine. So it was something happened during that resin infusion process, because the hull had a barrier coat on it since we've owned it, but obviously before that I don't know. But if there was a lack of barrier coat before we bought it, you'd think that there'd be blisters everywhere, but there's a very distinct line. Watch previous episodes if you want to find out more about that. We roll the pieces up, so we're going to line up the transom and then roll it forward. We put an arrow and a number and a letter on every single piece that we've cut, and you're probably going to see chaos. Even though it's all going to be numbered and labeled, something always comes up. You've got to handle these pretty carefully. That's why we rolled it up. If you don't, the whole thing just stretches and sags, and when you go to put it up, it'll be a completely different shape to what you cut. All right, first piece.
Bit more epoxy in the tray there, tray.
Okay, so that's the first sheet up. We're just using an air roller now. It gets any last little bits of air out of the laminate, but also spreads any excess epoxy out. So if you don't want too much epoxy, and you also obviously don't want it dry. We didn't take much glass out of this transom area, so we're only going to put 1 sheet of biax and then a 6 ounce bit of glass on top of that, just to tie it all in nicely. So we basically only took the fairing off the sugar scoops here, but I better help with this because this is quite hard to work with because it's so thin. That went really smoothly. There's normally a lot more yelling and screaming and pull here and push there, and that just went up real nice. Yeah, we've been working together. Chose has just arrived, but the 4 of us have been working together for about a month now. So we don't really even need to communicate. Everyone just knows exactly what to do next, and so that's the most important thing when you're glassing, is to have a good team. And yeah, there should be minimal amount of communicating going on because everyone just steps up into that role. So if the next piece needs to be wetted out here, you know, I could jump in and do that. Looks like they're having a bit of trouble with this because it's 1.3 meters long, so I'll start rolling. Enough talking, but I want to keep this entertaining for you guys. Just tell me to shut up, all right?
Not allowed to edit that.
Okay, hands are covered in epoxy. This is going about as smooth as it gets. I'll take a moment because these are just smaller pieces. What we're doing, is you'll notice, is we're staggering them. So the first sheet's long, and then the second sheet we'll do a short one. Well, two long ones, and then we'll do 2 short ones. These are little small ones. So that from then on, the 4 layers of glass all get staggered. Ways that this could go wrong. We're racing the clock right now. It's pretty hot. You can see all the sweat. We've got cotton gloves on under our rubber gloves because your hands tend to sweat when you don't use those, and your gloves literally fill with sweat. So then you get that into your work. So the cotton gloves is a nice little trick to absorb that sweat. I've got 3 layers of gloves on, so if this gets out of hand, you just take 1 layer off. But yeah, so whilst just getting the excess resin out there, don't know if you can get it, you'll notice that there's not a single cut apart from going from camera to camera. This is completely unedited, so if something goes wrong, you're going to be seeing it. Huh?
That's why I'm not talking.
Jamie's so focused right now. This is a big deal. We've got Jeff, he's the owner of Yacht Supply Malaysia, keeping an eye on things. And Chose, you're not wearing your supervisor shirt.
Uniform.
So the next one is going to be a thinner piece, and that's going to go right down where we've taken out 3 layers of glass. We're putting up 4 of epoxy. So I wonder if this is entertaining. Are you entertained? Leave a comment down below. So we don't want to get air bubbles. If we get a big air bubble below the fiberglass, that's going to have to be ground out, so we want to avoid that at all costs. Let's roll the next piece. Think of questions the audience might have.
Yeah, room. This one. Here, right? Yeah, this is a small one. Yeah, come back to here. Yeah. Up a little bit this way. Up to here. Yeah.
Okay, that little piece that you just saw me do, that's where we had some suspicious looking glass on the moisture meter. So we dug out a little bit and it turns out it's totally fine. It's just behind the sail drive there. But yeah, anytime you go digging out fiberglass, you got to replace it. So that's what that was. Now the next piece is going to, no sorry, it was in front of the sail drive. The next piece is going to link. You notice how they're all getting overlapped with each other from the transom. So the next piece is going to come back and go over that little repair that I just glassed up. This is a long piece and it's really wide, so this could be challenging. But yeah, the resin might even already be starting to kick down the transom there. So we can't do anything with that. Once it's kicked, yeah, you can't touch it. You try to roll some glass over that, it's bad news. So as we move forward, we're always working with fresh glass. That's done. I'm not going to touch it again. Okay.
Like a hand model.
It's okay. Right. Now we're going to wet the next one. These, up there. From here to here. You guys want to wet that out? And the next one's from here. Up here. You ready? Yep. What's happening there?
Okay. Again, going real smooth. Only thing that happened was Jamie just come in with some scissors because the cloth is stretching a little bit when we're wetting them out, so we've come off our mark slightly. Not a problem. It's just some areas going to have more of an overlap than we really needed, which means you're going to get 6 layers of glass. But yeah, the little bits of stitching sometimes get caught in your roller when you're dealing with biax. It's been stitched together, but you can just cut that or rip that out. Yeah, going smooth. These are quite narrow, these pieces, so they're going up easily, and you can sort of conform them as you need. But it's warm in these suits for sure. See, we've come off our mark a little bit there. But again, no problem at all. Just means there's some place to get more glass. Any questions?
Yeah, do you cut bigger pieces than you need just in case that happens, or do you try to keep it pretty exact so you don't have to grind this?
Good question. It's good to have the pieces a bit bigger, because then say if it did come up over the gel coat here, not a bother. You just zap that back, and then you know you got lots of glass, as opposed to coming short. If we were ending up down here every time, we would have to come back later or do it now in a rush, cutting them to fill that strip. This here actually only has gel coat knocked off it, so there's not even anywhere that had fiberglass removed, but that's what we're tying the whole section up to. So it's just going to be so damn strong. I'm out of breath from talking. How's it going, Chose?
Always good.
Almost done.
Always good.
Always good. So we're probably going to go through about 2 gallons of resin. With the 2 to 1, it ends up being 3 gallons. Any more good questions?
Yeah, what happens if you get a massive air bubble under your glass?
Yeah, we've got to grind that out. So we don't even want small air bubbles. That's what the air roller gets out, that steel one. But yeah, anything with air behind it means that the layers aren't bonded, and that's no good. So we've got a big piece coming up now. So we're doing the narrow ones are going up where there's for sure been 3 layers of glass removed, but then we're just doing 2 layers to tie it up to that original point where I just spoke about. So we've got a wide and long one coming up now. And then at the end there, we're about 3/4 of the way through at this point, maybe more. We're just going to come past the keel and then tie it down into the keel, so everything's just locked in. We've already ground the keel back because we finished at the keel yesterday. So let's do it. It's going up.
Come this way more. So come down, it's going to go here, boys. Right down the pallet. Like this. Like that. And so Jay's going to start. He's got a minute and very back. So then this cut is correct. That's just a little piece, yeah? Yeah.
You got scissors over there?
Yeah.
Okay, we've ended up a little bit short on that one piece. I'm going to just cut a 100mm strip. Just going to lay it in there right now before the big piece goes on. I just want to make sure that everywhere that we've ground right down, it's 4 layers. So this 2 layers that I'm putting on now will tie that together.
Good?
Resin in my hair.
Your hair.
That's my head.
Okay, probably got epoxy all in my hair, but it's part of the game. We're done. We're just putting up the last two pieces that are going to link up the hull to the keel. That's it. In terms of overhead glassing, that went really smooth. Only had to throw in 2 extra little strips that the piece just got a bit too stretched and it came in from where we wanted that glass to go. Yeah, everyone's just on song at the moment. The 2 local boys, you know, they do this for a living. Jamie and I have probably been doing this for 2 years, on and off, fixing this hurricane damaged boat. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that. How'd it go?
Well, not bad. We had that 100mm strip, the 100mm trick, and we just got caught on the sail drive there. It just stretched a little bit, but it's a race against the time. It's getting quite hot, but I didn't say anything because this is not getting edited, so they told me not to talk.
We're gonna do 2 more tie-in pieces on the other side of the keel, but for the purpose of this video, we thought we'd just do a run from there all the way to the keel. So we still have to do the other side of that transom, but for whatever reason, the inboard side of this hull doesn't have that that blister problem. So on this side, it was just that strip all the way down the outboard side of the port hull. So a lot of people, you know, be wondering why this is happening. You see these big repairs down the side. We take full responsibility for that. That was the materials that we used in Guatemala to repair the hurricane damage. Shit went flying into the hull, made big holes, the balsa got wet. We cut everything out and we replaced the core with honeycomb where it needed to be. But yeah, there's no one to blame other than ourselves for that stuff. But whatever happened down the center line of both hulls, including the keels, is a mystery and we'll never know. But a lot of people are coming up with their own theories. I have my own theories, but most likely something during that resin infusion process, only because all the rest of the sections of the hull are okay. Plenty of boats get osmosis around the world, not just Lagoon, but we just happen to have one. But you can't blame that on hurricane damage. We had the broken. I'm just talking too much now. How long is this video? Yeah, we're just filming our lives, and this is what's happening in our lives at the moment. Hope you enjoyed this uncut, raw, unedited episode, and let us know if you want us to do this again sometime. But that's the last big section of glass. But then the fairing begins.
Yay.
See you next Sunday. Any final words, Charles?
It's a lot of glass in an hour.
An hour.
What time's it?
57 minutes.
57 minutes, yeah.
Whoa.
If it wasn't 10 in the morning, we'd crack a beer.
You don't have any cold ones.
It's noon somewhere.
Oh, we don't have cold ones. We're in a resort though.
Fine one.
You can slip one out.